Representative Val Demings, I gotta tell you, it is a joy to have you here. And I am so excited. If I overtalk you, it's only because I'm excited to have you here. Like, you're one of my, I gotta tell you, I love everything about you. And I've been very clear with that with my editor. And so they know where I stand. Born and raised in Orlando, Florida. You represent Orlando. So my first question is, why did you decide to jump into the political fray and leave, I would say, a secure job as being chief of police? That's not so secure either, but leave that to do this.
Well, let me say this. It is an honor for me to be here with you this morning. And I just thank you for yet another opportunity to tell my story. You know, I had been at the Orlando Police Department for 27 years. I was sworn in as chief of police at my 24th year mark. And I made a promise to myself on the day that I was sworn in that I would retire when I felt my work was done. I didn't know when that was going to be. I know that when I was appointed chief, crime was at an all-time high. And I said, oh, here we go. But instead of focusing on the crisis, I chose to focus on the opportunity, because I think many times that's what a crisis will give us, an opportunity to provide our best service. So we swung for the fences as the police chief. We got the community really involved. And by bringing the community together, reorganizing the police department, we were able to reduce violent crime by over 40%. And I looked around and said, oh, I think this is my time. I wasn't sure what I was going to do when I announced my retirement. I just knew that my work was done at OPD. And I was immediately recruited by the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee to run for Congress. Mayor Dyer called me on their behalf. And I laughed at the idea. I said, Mayor, you have got to be kidding. I said, you know, you're a police chief. I'm a little rough around the edges. I kind of mean what I say and say what I mean. I don't think I'd make a good politician. And I said, but no offense to you, Mayor. But he talked to me, he said, you know, you might not want to burn any bridges. Why don't you just sit down and talk to him? And the amazing part is, I don't think I would have ever run for office had I not been recruited to run. Talked to a lot of different people about it and was convinced that maybe there was some good that I could do as an elected official, and ultimately made the decision to run for Congress, run for the House of Representatives. And I'm so glad I did, because we've been able to do some good work to help improve the quality of life for the people that we represent. So I guess I was kind of cut out for this after all.
Yeah, 27 years is a long time. And being from Orlando, my mom still lives there. I mean, she talks about just how effective you were in that role, and how effective you are in your current role too, she would say as well. And she has been very clear with me that you are a person of faith. And so this question is from her. How do you keep your faith in check? This is my mom's words here, while at the same time representing everyone.
Well, thank you, Mom, for that question, because look, I have been on this faith walk as long as I can remember. My first memories as a little girl were going to church with my mother, with my grandmother. My mother was Baptist on her side of the family. My father, and on his side of the family or side of the aisle, were Methodist. And so we used to go to the Baptist church, which we joined with my mom on first and third Sundays. And then we would go to the Methodist church on second and fourth Sundays. And my mom used to play the piano for the church for a while. And so we sang in the choir in the Baptist church, and sang in the youth choir in the Methodist church. And so my faith walk has been a major part of my life. I'm a Christian, and I don't make any qualms about that. I remember when I was sworn in as the police chief, I quoted scripture during my remarks. I also had our church choir there. We sang a song, "To God Be the Glory," because all of the glory goes back to him. And there was not one day that I put on my uniform and my ballistic vest and went to work on the streets of Orlando that I did not pray before I went to work, and prayed when I got back home. Today in the House of Representatives, I don't think I could make it really with some of the strange times, if you will, that we are
Yeah.
facing, were it not
It's a nice
for
word.
my faith.
Yeah.
I know that God's got it. And so, I work hard. Look, I give the people that I represent 100%. But I know that every answer to every issue I don't have those answers, but I know that God does. And one of my favorite scriptures is Romans 8:28. We know that all things work together for the good, for those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So I don't do, what do they say? If you pray, don't worry. If you want to worry, don't pray. I know that God's got it at the end of the day. That is what carries me through every obstacle, every challenge, every day, every hour, every minute, every second.
I gotta tell you, you and I both share the same thing in a house divided. Imagine being Greek Orthodox on my dad's side at St. George down there in Orlando, and then walking to First Orlando at the time when it was downtown at the same time. Just imagine a house divided there. We both turned out okay though, which is good. Speaking out divided, we're in such a divided place right now. And the number one question that people just want me to just ask you is, did you think we would be here still in 2022? Um, yeah.
As a police officer, as a police chief, I served in every rank. I could not tell you the political party of the overwhelming majority of men and women that I worked with in law enforcement. It didn't matter. We had a mission and we were laser focused on that mission, and that was to keep our community safe and reduce violent crime. We also had a very strong chaplains program at the police department. I remember we had this 40 days of prayer where we went into one of the most crime-ridden areas, and First Baptist of Orlando was there, and of course, a lot of churches from around the city. And it was really interesting because in this very high crime-ridden area, we did not have one homicide during that period of time, and for almost a year after that. And so we have just been about getting the job done, and we need both. We need people of faith, but we also need two strong party systems to really make government work. I got to tell you, I was disappointed when I was first sworn in at how divided we were, that there didn't seem to be enough people who just wanted to get things done. If one party brought a good idea, it was just no, 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 no. If the other party, no, 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 no. And so I do believe that it is on the body of faith in the House of Representatives and the Senate, on the ground in Orlando and across this nation, to really come together, because a house divided cannot stand. Yeah, we have Republicans, we have Democrats, we have independents, but at the end of the day, we are the United States of America. That is our strength. Yeah. Our diversity is our strength. We're a nation founded on Christian principles, but we're also that nation that says we're the land of opportunity, that regardless of who you are, with faith walk you're in, or the color of your skin, or where you come from, that you can have an opportunity through hard work and playing by the rules to live the American dream here. And so we've got to come together so we can get things done on behalf of the people that we represent all over this nation.
Gotcha. I'll have you for a few more minutes. I got to ask this question. And as someone who writes in religion, as someone who reports on religion, I'm deeply concerned about Christian nationalism and the rise of it. What do you think about that? Like, what hope can you give to our audience who is just like me, who are going, man, we are believers, but we're deeply concerned about this, though?
But the Bible also calls us to be bold in our faith, and to let our light shine so that others may see our good works and glorify our Father in heaven. I believe that, as I said earlier, as the police chief, I think that crisis can bring the greatest opportunities. And this nation has been in trouble before. But it was always good, decent, honest people of integrity who always stood up and fought hard for our nation to survive. And now we have to do that more now than ever. Good, decent, honest people of integrity have to step up and speak out against that which they know is wrong. And those who try to divide our nation, those who try to destroy our nation, of the boldness of that now, we as the body of faith have to be even bolder. And we have to protect all that is good and innocent and honest and decent about who we are as a nation. Look, I serve on the Homeland Security Committee. I serve on the Intelligence Committee, and that rise, which I refer to really as terrorism. Look, I was in the Capitol on January 6th. That was about denying the will of the people. And we have to be bold, and we have to stand up and speak out against anything that is contrary to our democratic principles and values and who we are as a nation.
Next to last question. I've never asked anybody this before. January 6th, where were you that day and what were you thinking? I remember my mom calling, and I said I wasn't going to share this, but I am going to share this. I remember my mom calling, and she was sincerely praying for you that day. Where were you that day and what did you think?
You know, I was in the Capitol. Because of COVID, there were only 72 members of the House who were allowed on the floor at one time. And so I was glad to be in the first group of 72. So excited. We were there taking selfies, and, you know, just, it was a great moment. You know, this moment, the peaceful transfer of power, is an American tradition, a wonderful time. And I have to say this too, to really kind of set up my answer. I attended the inauguration in 2017 of then President Donald Trump. While my person did not win, the election was over. Right. And it's an American tradition to celebrate the peaceful transfer of power. Yeah. So I was there in 2017, and I was there in 2021. The difference, you know, I was there, I was able to actually watch the certification of the electoral ballots in 2021, and it was a great moment for our nation. I could not believe that I had to get down on the floor and put on a gas mask, and that people who refused to accept the will of the people were breaking out windows and breaking down doors and beating police officers down on that day. I had tried to call my husband earlier when it first started, but he was in a commission meeting that day and didn't answer his phone. And then by the time he was notified of what was going on, I was on the floor basically with a whole bunch of other people, because that's what we were told to do by the sergeant at arms. And he was blowing up my phone, as well as my sons and friends and family. It was just a horrifying moment. But there again, you know, it's about standing up for what we know is right. And I told one of my colleagues that day, if we all die today, if we are as big and bad as we say we are, if the Constitution, the rule of law, and our democracy mean anything, another group will just come in and certify the electoral ballots, because the people had spoken and the will of the people matter in this nation. Wow.
And you went back to work just like you did as a chief police also as well, and you did that. Last question was a lot more lighter. FSU or the University of Florida? This is a big one. So don't mess this one up.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh.
Okay. Okay. You know, it was such a great interview until that time, and now I gotta just, you know.
Thank you for that question.
This was going so well, and then you just put it there for me. No, I'm joking, sort of. Well, I gotta tell you, my mom told me this morning, said she prays for you every morning at 5:30. And I know that she does, because she's praying for me as well. After spending time with you here today, I deeply see why. I just wish you the best.
Thank you.
There, and just thank you for serving our country and for going back to work on January 6th. When a lot of
it's worth it. It's
so,
worth it.
Thank you.
And thank your mom so much for her prayers. The prayers of the righteous availeth much. And I just appreciate every person who prays for me.
You got it. And she'll see you out there, she said. So she's coming. So there it is. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
and thank you for your time. Have a great day today.
You too. Take
Take
care.